Okay, this exercise is from section 8.1, Basics of Hypothesis Testing. This is question number 2, or you can refer to it as 8.1.9. In this example, the claim is that fewer than 96% of adults have a cell phone. So that claim is against the population. So the claim is that fewer than 96% of adults in the population have a cell phone. So that 96% indicates to us that this is a proportion type problem. Now, in a reputable poll of 1,233 adults, 89% said that they have a cell phone. That is sample information. So that 89% is a sample proportion. Now, we need to find the value of the test statistic in this case. So I'm going to take all of this information and I am going to find the test statistic. Now, I know that since I'm dealing with a proportion, that I am going to use this formula right here. Now I need to get some information here, so I need to go back and check what p hat is, and I need to check what the population proportion is. I'm also going to need to find q, which is the complement of the population proportion, and then I need to find what n is, my sample size. So all of that minus q was given in the problem. So our p hat was 89%, that's the sample proportion. Our population proportion was 96%, so let's go jot those down. So one more time, it was 89% and 96%, so 0.89 for the proportion of the sample and 0.96 for the proportion of the population. Now our sample size is 1,233, so I'm going to jot that down. So our sample size is 1,233. And now to find q, I'm just going to subtract p from 1. So I'm going to take 1, I'm going to subtract out the 0.96, and it should end up with 0.04, and that is what my q is equal to. Now I'm just going to plug all this into my formula. So z here is going to be equal to p hat, so 0.89, minus p, 0.96, and then I'm going to divide that by the square root of p times q, so we're going to have 0.96 multiplied by 0.04, and then I'm going to divide all of that by n, which is 1,233. And so now I'm just going to plug all that into my calculator. All right, so I'm going to start with a fraction. On the top of the fraction, the numerator, I'm going to do 0.89 minus 0.96. I'm then going to drop down into the denominator, and I'm going to start by putting a square root symbol there. So the square root is above the x squared button. And then once I've got my square root, I'm going to drop a fraction in there. Now on top of the fraction in the denominator, I'm going to put 0.96 multiplied by 0.04. I'm basically setting this up exactly how I've written it over here. Now I drop down into the denominator. I'm going to type in the sample size of 1,233. I've got all of this keyed into my calculator now. I'm going to press my enter button and I get a test statistic. So my z test statistic here is equal to negative 12 we'll call that 543. I don't remember how many decimal places. I'm guessing they're going to want 2 decimal places, but let's go have a look. So I'm going to say round to 2 decimal places, so that is correct. So I'm going to cut this off at the 4. So I'm going to make this negative 12.54. So I'm going to type that in, negative 12.54. I hit enter, and we get that one right. So that is how you can use the information, in this case, for the claim against a proportion to find the test statistic.